Bunzy'S vlog! Hurrah! So here's a question, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it, and I'd like to hear your comments down below. Now, are video games the investment of the future? Yeah? Should we invest in video games? Should we buy up video games that are sort of, popular now or cheap now, that we know are going to go up in value? Now, personally, I collect games. And, I have collected quite a few games that I think are going to be valuable in the future. It's not the only reason I collect them. I collect them because I like playing games. Look behind me. Yeah, I like playing games. Are they a good investment? Now, I think they're a dangerous investment, but I don't think they're a bad investment. And by that, I mean that in order to make money from games, you've got to know about the system you're collecting for. Now, personally, I collect at the moment for PS2, PS3, the Wii. I've got a few Mega Drive games, they're the old ones, and yeah, I've got a load of Amstrad stuff which will never be worth anything because it was cassette based. But the reason I've kept them and they're at my parents' house is it's less about the fact that they'll ever be valuable and more about the fact that it was one of the first systems that I got as a kid. I got given a green screen Amstrad CPC 464 that had a built-in cassette deck. Ooh, it was the future. And, I got loads of games for it, because at the time you could buy games, you could even buy games in Superdrug on cassette. You could go in there and there was a company called Mastertronic, I think they were called, and yeah, they had one of those spinners full of cassette games in Superdrug or in Boots, they sold them as well. And you could buy a cassette and it would be like $1.99 or $2.99, which is, great pocket money prices. So it's kind of changed a lot, because at the time I used to just, I used to get a couple of quid a week or whatever it was, pocket money, and so I'd buy a different game each week, which was great, and I built up a huge collection of these games, which are now worth absolutely nothing. And the reason they're worth absolutely nothing is because cassettes just died. Yeah, I think they are coming back a little bit, but I don't think the Amstrad is ever going to be a big system to collect for. I think the Spectrum was the one that people collected for more, and even that, still, cassettes are worth nothing because they degrade very easily and the little spools inside rot, so it's very hard to keep them in good condition. Yeah, so that was kind of the first system I collected for, and then I got a Mega Drive, so obviously I've got quite a few Mega Drive games, and then an N64, what else did I have? A Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, PS2, didn't bother with the PS1, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, all of those, and but it's reached the point now where a lot of people keep asking me the same question: are video games, a good investment for the future? Because they know I'm into it, and I kind of say the same thing. One, yes, but you need to know what it is you're looking for, and two, only certain types of video games are a good investment. Now, sports games, never going to be a good investment. And the reason is, every year a new sports game comes out, and every year, as soon as it comes out, the one that was almost identical from last year, they just change a few bits every year, like FIFA or, NHL or NBA or whatever it is. They just change a few features, bring the new version out. So the one from last year instantly halves in price. And of course, sports is massively popular. So then all the people that had last year's and want this year's teams or this year's players, they then trade in their old one. So within a few years, a FIFA game has gone from being worth 50 quid new to literally being worth 10p. And if you don't believe me, last week I picked up 5 FIFA games. I think I picked up 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Because I thought it would be just fun to see if I could get a set of FIFA games without spending more than like a tenner. And I picked up 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 for, I think it was 90p. And I don't mean 90p each, I mean 5 for 90p. So don't invest in sports games. What should you invest in? Well, Japanese role-play games, JRPGs, they are massively collectible. And the reason they're collectible, especially here in Britain and in America, is because obviously the market isn't saturated. Because they're, usually it's not such a big audience. So when they come out, usually only the best ones come across to Britain or America from Japan, and only a few people are into them, so they get bought up very quickly. And then obviously it's supply and demand, so they go up in price very quickly. So if you want to collect anything, collect Japanese role-play games or survival horror games. They're incredibly popular and good to collect for because they don't seem to lose their value as much. Or fighting games. So the Street Fighter games, the Tekken games, the Soul Calibur games, they're all great ones to invest in. But above all, I would say go for Japanese role-play games if you want to make money in the future. The next question is, what will games be worth in the future? And the answer is, I've no blooming idea, but I know they'll be worth more than a lot of them are worth now. And the reason that is because eventually, well, cartridges have pretty much already gone, haven't they? The Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, the NES. You don't really get cartridge-based machines anymore, and the reason for that is they cost too much to make. Whereas a Blu-ray disc, which is the main thing that they come out on now, unless it's downloadable, is just a lot cheaper. So yeah, everything seems to come out on Blu-ray now, but that's only for a certain amount of time, and when that stops, guess what? When there's no more around, and people go, oh, I really like that PlayStation 3 game, I'd like to play that again, but there's not a lot on the market. That's when the prices start going up on eBay, they start going up on Amazon. Second-hand shops won't have them anymore because all the collectors will have bought them up, and also, scalpers will have bought them up. And if you don't know what a scalper is, it's someone who buys a game for a normal price and then whacks up the price in order to make sure they make a profit on it. So if a game's actually worth a fiver on eBay, they put it on for a tenner, doubling the price of the game. But then, of course, the next normal seller comes along and goes, oh, it's sold for a tenner, I'll put it on for 11. So games just suddenly rocket in value. Or you get other people that corner the market in a game, so they'll buy a game for a fiver, say a Japanese role-play game that isn't very popular, they'll buy it, but then they'll go, hang on a minute, that shop online has got 50 copies of this, or that shop online's got 5 copies of this, and that's across the whole country. So if I buy all 5 of those, and then I go to another shop and buy all 5 of those, I'm completely cornering the market in that country by buying all of the copies of something from that particular shop. And do you know what? When they put them on eBay, because there won't be many copies on eBay because it's a JRPG or it's a survival horror game, all of a sudden the price of those games can go really high in value because there's just not the supply, but the demand's there. So yeah, and I'm not saying go out and corner the market in games because that would be bad for everyone. But what I am saying is, I guess, yeah, they are a good investment if you know what you're looking for.